Have you ever been tripped up by a word that looks simple but sounds completely different than you expect? I know I have. And today, we're tackling one of those tricky words head on, relay. Is it relay? Or is it RELI? Maybe something else entirely? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know the correct pronunciation, but you'll also understand why it's so often mispronounced, and I'll even give you some tips to avoid similar pronunciation pitfalls in the future. Think about it for a second. How do you say it? Relay? RELI? Don't be shy, even if you're not sure. The whole point of this video is to clear up any confusion. It's a word we use quite often, from talking about races to describing the transfer of information, so getting it right is definitely worthwhile. And you know what? You're not alone if you've stumbled over this one. It's a common source of confusion, and there are a few reasons why. One of the main culprits is the way the word is spelled. We see relay and our brains immediately jump to familiar patterns. We see the re- prefix, which we often pronounce as re, like in repeat or rely. Then we see lay, which we associate with words like lay, as in to place something down, or delay. So, naturally, we combine those and get relay. It sounds logical, right? Well, not quite. The actual pronunciation is RELI, with the emphasis on the first syllable. Think of it like relative or relevant. The stress is key here. It's not about the vowels themselves, but where we place the emphasis. If you say RELI, you've got it. If you say relay, well, you're in good company with a lot of other folks, but it's not quite right. Now, why the confusion? We've already touched on the spelling, but there's more to it than that. English is a wonderfully complex language, and pronunciation often doesn't follow spelling rules as strictly as we'd like. We have silent letters, words that sound the same but are spelled differently, homophones, and, of course, stress patterns that can completely change the meaning of a word. Think about present, for example. If you stress the first syllable, it's a noun, a gift. If you stress the second syllable, it's a verb, to give something. Relay is similar in that the stress is crucial to its correct pronunciation. Another factor contributing to the mispronunciation might be the influence of similar-looking words from other languages. Sometimes, we subconsciously apply pronunciation rules from languages we've learned, even if those rules don't apply to English. This can lead to some interesting, and sometimes humorous, pronunciation errors. So, how can you remember the correct pronunciation of relay? One helpful trick is to associate it with other words that have a similar stress pattern. Think of words like relish, reckon, or rebel when it's a noun, meaning a person who opposes authority. These words all have the stress on the first syllable, just like RELI. If you can remember these, you'll have a handy reminder for relay as well. Another tip is to listen carefully to native English speakers. Pay attention to how they pronounce the word in different contexts. You can find countless examples online, in podcasts, interviews, and even casual conversations. The more you hear it pronounced correctly, the more natural it will become for you to say it that way. And finally, don't be afraid to practice. Say the word out loud, even if you're just talking to yourself. The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll become with the correct pronunciation. You can even record yourself saying it and compare it to a recording of a native speaker. This can be a very effective way to identify any areas where you might be struggling. Now, let's talk about the different meanings of relay, because that can also contribute to confusion. The word can be a noun, referring to a race where runners take turns carrying a baton, or a device that switches or transfers electricity. It can also be a verb, meaning to pass something on, like a message or information. Regardless of the meaning, the pronunciation remains the same, RELI. Knowing the correct pronunciation of relay is important for clear communication. It helps you avoid misunderstandings and ensures that you're being understood correctly. It also demonstrates your attention to detail and your command of the English language. Beyond relay, there are many other words in English that are commonly mispronounced. Words like comfortable, pronunciation itself, and especially are just a few examples. The key to improving your pronunciation is to be aware of these potential pitfalls and to take the time to learn the correct pronunciations. Don't rely solely on spelling. Use dictionaries, online resources, and listen to native speakers to guide you. So, to recap, the correct pronunciation of relay is RELI, with the emphasis on the first syllable. Remember the related words like relish and reckon to help you remember the stress pattern. Listen to native speakers, practice saying the word aloud, and don't be afraid to ask for clarification if you're still unsure. With a little effort and attention, you'll be pronouncing relay like a pro in no time. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.